So hello everybody, here we are. We are live for the Meetup experience by Lego Creatives, and we are waiting for everybody to tune in. So we're just gonna wait for a minute or so to see, if everything is working and that everybody is able to tune in as well. I'm having, as you can see, some incredible guests. And yeah, it seems like everything is working inside the webpage and the YouTube channel as well. So this is great. So welcome everybody. And welcome to those of you who are going to watch this replay as well, because many of you tried to register and we couldn't accommodate so many requests. So thank you for all and every one of you who are tuning in live. I see people are starting to join. This is great to see you live. Please do let us know in the comments where you are tuning in from. We would like to know, where are you tuning in from? Which country, which city? How are you feeling today? We can see in the chat your answers, and all you need to do is type in the chat in the YouTube. All right, so welcome everybody. This is the first virtual meetup by Lego Creatives. We are very, very excited for this one because you are going to be able to connect with me, with the guests, but mostly with other attendees. And we're going to let you know how this is going to work. So to everyone, please don't hesitate to be shy. I don't see any comments in the chat bot yet, but please, let's make it interactive. Oh, yes, we do see some answers here. We have someone from Lisa, Trinidad and Tobago. Bianca is tuning in from Brazil. And who else is tuning in? India. Aniya is tuning in from India. This is really amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Who else is here? There's 17 people on the live. We have Mauro from Sao Paulo. This is so great to see you. Thanks for tuning in. We have our guests that are from France, Arnaud and Elizabeth from South Africa, and I am now tuning in from Brazil. Fortaleza, Brazil, lots of Brazilians. Oh, this is Barbara. Thank you for joining live. Barbara and I met when I was visiting Fortaleza. All right, we have Netherlands, Jeroen coming from the Netherlands. This is so nice to have so many of you tuning in live. All right, so keep telling where you're tuning in from. And while you do so, I'm just going to let you know how this is going to unfold. So we're going to have this meetup where I'm going to be sharing a little bit about, a few things I know in this field of legal design, especially how you can create a better user experience using legal design. But mostly you're going to be hearing my guests today. And I have two really special guests who have been extremely involved in the field of innovation, digitalization, and legal design, but also plain language. And so you're going to have a chance to get to know who they are, the work that they do. And I'm sure you're going to leave very much inspired by the path they have decided to take. And I have no doubt this is going to help you also, make some choices for your career and for your life. To see that it's actually possible to, live a fulfilling life being a lawyer, or maybe you're not a lawyer, but you want to be involved in the legal design space, and then this is your place to contribute. All right. So we have Vinicius from Brazil. We have Puerto Rico in the room. More Brazilians. Carolina is saying good afternoon, everyone. Joining from Brazil as well. Well, we have so many fans from Brazil. This is amazing. All right. So without further ado, I would like to introduce each of our guests today, who are going to be presenting a short presentation made to provide some really good content to you. And then we're going to have some questions. And after the questions, we're going to have a networking experience. And the networking experience is going to happen in Zoom. So you will be able to connect on the other tool to really make those meaningful connections in live, interacting with one another. So let's start by presenting Arnaud. Arnaud, I know you so well that I only use your your first name now. Arnaud. Don't even. I know you.
Servera.
Sorry.
Servera.
Cervera, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Arnaud Cervera. He's from Toulouse in France, and he is an entrepreneur. He has been working for many years in the field of digitalization in a very large organization. And he's going to be sharing with you today his personal journey, how he got to do what he does, and how you can also start digitalization of your contracts using legal design. And we also have Elizabeth de Stadler from South Africa. I hope I said your name right, Elizabeth. And she is calling herself a rehabilitated lawyer. She is an expert in the field of plain language, also using legal design for compliance and other fields of expertise that she's going to share with you. And she's been doing a lot of work moving away from very large law firm in South Africa, establishing herself as an entrepreneur, building her own consultancy firm, and really making a huge difference by taking an innovative path. So we're very excited to see like so many of you are interacting on the chat, and we're very excited you're here. So let's start with the first presentation by Arnaud. And Arnaud, you have the virtual mic to share with our audience.
Thank you, Tessa. So thank you for the introduction. So I really would say tell a story today. That's my real life journey into procurement digital transformation in a big corporation. So it really starts with two different concepts. The first one, which is about digitizing a contract, which is just about making a weight signed paper contract as a PDF, which finally come into being a picture, meaning that you are just generating big megabytes, but we are not generating that much value. And then there is the digitalization. So you have to think digital from the drafting of your contract to the contract signature. So far, there are already some existing platform which allows you, I would say, to make the difference, meaning that the object is not anymore the entire contract, but it becomes the article or the clauses, meaning that you are able to manage a library of clauses, and your user will be able to generate the contract as just to answer some business questions, and then thanks to the answers, the contract is generated as a whole, and the business rules or the business question may be, for instance, what's the applicable law of the contract, and then you end up with a first draft in a minute, with a first draft or your contract. And then you may start to collaborate and redline, I would say, this first version of the contract with the other party. And for sure, that's, I would say, such a great collaborative platform allows you as well to involve other stakeholders. Because in the frame of your negotiation, you may have to involve different people, different experts, the business, IP specialist, insurance specialist, liability specialist. So this platform allows really you to onboard several actors to allow you moving forward your negotiation. And as such, because I would say the granularity of the contract is not anymore the full contract, but the article, you are really able to manage an article into configuration. So what does it mean? It just means that you may have the record of all historical evolution of the negotiation for this article, which may be of great interest to identify what was a bit journey that was taken for the negotiation. And for sure, because this, I would say, platform support not just the fact to make the contract digital, but the full contract lifecycle management process. You may be able, thanks to seamless integration with a digital signature solution, to go to the signature into the system, meaning that at the end, you really end up, I would say, with a fully digitalized contract sign the contract, see the contract through a platform that you are able to manage also the process of approval, onboarding people for the relearning process, and so on and so forth. The beauty of this system as well is that there are several connectors which allows you to implement seamless integration into other systems. Just an example, once you agreed your contract, you may directly push your prices into your own ERP system. Or you may even push the seed contract into your own archiving system, meaning that at the end, it really becomes a 100% paperless contract and 100% paperless process as well. So that works pretty well for brand new contracts. But what about your legacy contracts? Because you started your business some years ago, and then for sure you have dozens, hundreds, or thousands of existing contracts which are just pictures stored into your records. And you cannot do anything with this contract because they are just pictures. They are just gigabytes stored somewhere. But you may know that there are already existing some solutions called contract discovery and analytics, which allows you to turn this old digitized contract into data. Thanks to optical character recognition, thanks to natural language processing and machine learning, this solution allows you to turn your previous wet signed paper contract, which was scanned as a PDF, to turn into data, meaning that at the end you have really a full set of data which is completely digitalized. Your legacy contract and your brand new contracts. And thanks to analytics, because then your contract is not just a contract, it's a lot of data. So thanks to analytics, you are really able to anticipate some end of validity, or to prepare some notification about new rebates or renewal of contracts, or just to look at the historical evolution of negotiation, meaning that it's really a way for you to really optimize and generate a value thanks to the knowledge of the data which were just not there before because they were just pictures stored somewhere. I don't know if you already heard about negotiation boats, which may be the next step, because once we went through this, I would say, collaborative platform, which allows you to manage digitally your process and generation of a contract, you are not done. That's the first step. And there are so many potential on top of this. So coming back to the negotiation boats, a negotiation bot is absolutely not a robot speaking to another robot. We still need people. But because data is there, the negotiation bots really help you to accelerate, to speed up some negotiation on some article. Just figure out that in the last 10 years, you have negotiated several dozens of contracts with the same party. The negotiation bot may tell you that 95% of the time you reach always the same deviation. So why should you start again the negotiation with the party? So the negotiation bot, which is somehow a kind of digital assistant, may just recommend you to approve the deviation proposed by the party, which means that it will free up a lot of time for you to be able to focus your negotiation and your effort on the really added value activities. So all this stuff is not a dream. The tech is there. But is the tech really the challenge for that? I don't think so. So you may face several challenges in the journey, which is first the data quality, meaning the authoring is well performing when the scan is quite good, where very bad, it's very difficult to extract the data from there. The fact that you may grab the exhaustive list of all your contracts is a challenge as well, because they may be spread over different people, different records, different folders, different drives, you don't know. So that's a challenge as well to gather all the data, even if they are just scanned contracts. Another challenge is about simplification and clarification. So as shared by Tessa, that was that you are not just pushing the complexity into the system. This is clearly something I strongly recommend that you step back a bit in your deployment process, in your implementation process, really looking at a new standard for your contracts, really looking at designing them in a way that they are really ready to be managed as a digital set of data. So that's not just about making them visual, it's also to make them simplified, to clarify the meaning of everything. And as well, as I said, the object is not anymore the contract, but that's the clause. So you may have to rethink the way your contract is articulated. But at the end, probably the highest, I would say, challenge is the people, because you may deploy a quite very performing platform if your people are not using it because they don't see the why, they don't see the meaning behind it. Let's forget, you will have spent a lot of money for nothing. So generally speaking, what we say is that digital transformation is 20% about the tech and 80% about the people. So really onboard your people, your user into the full process, even the process of the selection of the platform itself, because you are selecting the platform for them. You need to think about the platform as being the more user-centric as possible, because at the end, people may not use it. So that, Tessa, that's my story. That was just a story I wanted to tell you today.
Well, thank you very much for sharing with us. It's been really insightful to learn about what you've been able to achieve, and also to learn about your insights. Because what I've taken away from your testimonial, and I think it strikes everyone that is listening live, it's the technology is here. We can have a contract dashboard instead of contract papers that are signed in ink. So why is it we're not using them? And we'd love to have a discussion with all and every one of you after we hear our second guest speaker. But I think it's been really striking to see that probably the most difficult challenge is not necessarily technology, but mindsets. And this is why I decided to invite Elizabeth de Stadler to join us from Cape Town, South Africa, so she could talk a little bit about how important it is for all of us to develop a more, if I may say so, a more appropriate mindset, or at least one that is more conducive to creativity, innovation, and legal design. So without further ado, I want to give the virtual mic to Elizabeth, who is going to be sharing about her experience as a rehabilitated lawyer. Elizabeth, you are muted, and I cannot unmute you.
There.
Oops.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Excellent.
That's great.
Sorry for the false start. I was just saying thanks so much for having me, and hello to everybody from down south in South Africa. So today I am going to talk to you a little bit about actually a side project that we have been running at Novation Consulting, which is my one company that I started. The other one is called Hey Plain Jane, that's our plain language agency. Maybe just a little bit before I start about us. So we are all lawyers who decided that we needed to combine various disciplines. And these disciplines include, entrepreneurial skills, compliance and risk management, information and communication design, mixed with a bit of ethics and data protection and change management. One of the things that we increasingly find that we want to share with more people is our journey and how all of us got here. And it starts almost always with lawyer jokes, right? So this is one of my favorite ones. that Winston Churchill once said, lawyers occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of them pick themselves up and hurry off as if nothing had happened. And my favorite one, which I often use in plain language training, one day in contract law class, Professor Jepson asked one of his better students, now, if you were to give someone an orange, how would you go about it? The student replied, here is an orange. The professor was livid. No, think like a lawyer. The student then recited, okay, I tell him, I hereby give and convey to you all in singular my estate and interest rights, claims, titles, claim and advantages of an insaid orange, together with all of its rind, juice, pulp and seeds, and all rights and advantages, with full power to bite, cut, freeze, and otherwise eat the same, or give the same away with and without the pulp, juice, rind, and seeds, anything herein before, here, and after, or in any deed or deeds, instruments of whatever nature or kind whatsoever, to the contrary, in any wise notwithstanding. Right? We've all seen drafting like that, and we all laugh about it. But if we're honest, it hurts a little, right? The statistics are quite staggering. This was a study done in America, but we see evidence of it around the globe. The fact that lawyers are almost 4 times as likely to be depressed as people in other jobs. The fact that we, about 28% of us suffer from some form of depression, 19% have symptoms of anxiety, and 21% are problem drinkers. Now, I don't know what a problem drinker is, but it sounds fairly serious. And I can, at a very personal level, identify with these statistics. So I did very well in law school. I went to the biggest commercial firm in South Africa. I was the highest billing associate, but I was unhappy, right? Mostly because they wouldn't let me wear sneakers. They constantly told me to use more difficult language. I was writing too simplistically. It was just not a good fit. So I left, and for a good couple of years, I left the law. I went back to university. I did a master's in behavioral economics, and I taught, a bit of contract law. But I missed the law and I realized that the problem is not the law, right? The problem is how we think about being a lawyer. And the good news is, what I found over the last decade is it doesn't have to be this way. Right? We don't have to feel this way. And this has given rise to our latest project, which we lovingly call the rehabilitated lawyer. And essentially, and I will explain a little bit about what the plan is. It's something that we are working on right now. We've selected it as our COVID-19 project. It is not 12 steps. So, that's a little bit of an Alcoholics Anonymous joke. It's not 12 steps, it's 6 steps. Right? And we are building this product around, firstly, finding your purpose. So thinking about, why did you get into the law in the first place? For some of us, it's because our fathers and our mothers wanted us to. Thinking about, what is the role of a lawyer? Often we find that lawyers think differently about their role than our clients think about our role. What do good and even popular, there are popular lawyers, what do they do? And can you use your law degree for good or evil, if that's your thing, right? Then secondly, I think one of the things that really creates depth in your ability to give advice is thinking about how to solve problems. We are all in this business of solving problems for our clients. So what are the techniques that creatives and designers use? Think about aspects of design thinking or legal design. Think about user experience. Think about information design, biomimicry. The lessons that I have learned about the practice of law from nature is unbelievable. What are the things that we can take from good risk management? Then, very importantly, learning to speak and write like a human. And this is where Tessa mentioned that we're plain language practitioners. Learn from communication specialists to write advice, contracts, policies, and emails that works for your reader, right? It's not about you. If your reader doesn't read it, it's dead, is the popular expression. And second, the fourth step is making friends and influencing people. Law often is about getting people to change their behavior. And how do you do that? Again, the answer lies in a multidisciplinary approach. Both my companies employ fewer lawyers than we do communication specialists, change managers, information designers. So we learn from the fields of design, decision theory, change management, psychology, and behavioral economics. And that's essentially the study of what makes humans tick. Once you understand that, all of a sudden you also know how to structure your advice to your clients in a way that is likely to change their lives, to change their organization. Then I think one of the most overlooked skills for lawyers is learning how to be a risk manager. We often think of the world in terms of black and white, right? Someone is either performing in terms of a contract or they're in breach. Something's either legal or illegal. But in life, things are very rarely that binary. At the moment, we're learning that lesson on a global scale. Things are not black and white. They're gray. They're uncertain. So how do we make sense of this uncertain and ever-changing world? And I think the answer lies in risk management. And what does that mean, and how do you do it? And then lastly, but probably the most important step for me, was learning from other people. I think getting back to sort of the meaning of law in society means that we have to be multidisciplinary. And this step for us is about what are we reading, who are we listening to, who are we talking to, what are we watching, and how has these seemingly unrelated things, we call them law adjacent things, how have they helped us become better attorneys? So those are the 6 steps. But what is the rehabilitated lawyer about? For now, hopefully in a month or so, we are going to launch a website as well as a free newsletter. And over time, we plan to design online training on each of these 6 steps, and to provide access to speakers and to other sources of wisdom. And so we are just starting on this journey, and we are hoping to share how we got to a more meaningful and fulfilled life as a lawyer with everybody. And if you're interested, I'd like to invite you to send me a direct message on LinkedIn, or to follow Novcon. That's where we will be announcing when we are ready for people to sign up for the newsletter and to go to the website. And I just want to thank Tessa again for giving us this opportunity to talk about this topic. We feel very, very passionate about it.
Well, I want to say thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing some really cool insights. I've seen this was a lot of comments in the YouTube chat, which is great to see all of you so engaged with us. It is true, this story resonated with me as well. And I'm sure, if you are tuning in for this virtual meetup, it's because you have a good reason to tune in today, because you see there are new opportunities on the market, but also you feel quite an enormous amount of frustration by sort of, feeling stuck in the traditional law. And well, now it's your opportunity to move towards something that is more meaningful to you, where you can live and work in the legal field in a more impactful manner. And that's why I created Legal Creatives, out of this passion that I have for creativity, that at the time I believed was only for the artist. And so I did spend quite some time with the artist, and I still love to do so. But eventually I decided to bring creativity into my field, which is the legal field. And I didn't know it was possible until I made it happen. So that's a bit the lesson of the story for, I think, all of the speeches we've heard today. Whether you would like to digitalize your contracts, whether you work in a big firm, in a big organization, or even a small, there's a lot of tools that you can use. And it's all about getting started and making it happen. And for sure, it's not going to be necessarily perfect the first time. Although now, with the level of maturity of technology, we all have to admit, the errors risk are getting really low now. So, and given the risk associated to not taking action, it might be best to give it a try. And so I would like to continue sharing a little bit about the user experience, because this was the theme for this virtual meetup, is to talk about how you can create the law experience you wished you had. And after, we're going to take a couple of questions and comments, and we'll be nicely moving towards the networking experience. So now is my turn to share my screen. So hopefully everything will go right. All right, so let's just present. All right, so I assume everything is right because now I see my slides. I don't necessarily see you. But look, I want to talk to you about how you can find a future legal user experience. The user experience is a term that may not be so commonly used in the legal space, but it is extremely important for you to get more accustomed to it, because I'm telling you, it's going to be extremely relevant in the legal field. There are a couple of reasons for that. Because the justice system and the legal system, they're very local systems. They are interested in very domestic issues. So we have legal systems in every country of the world, and we have a justice system to enforce those laws as well. But the world today is hyper connected at a global level. So when you talk to an entrepreneur or a business owner, whether it's a small one or a big firm, their interests are global. Their playing field is global, and the clients are global too. So how come the law is still sort of back into a very territorial system when the world has gone entirely global? How are we going to reduce this gap? Is it even possible to reduce this gap? And I'm not telling you I have the magic solution. And today in this virtual meetup, we're all going to take a magic pill and everything is going to be solved. No, this is going to be hard work to solve those problems, to reduce this gap between the new reality and the legal universe. But also, everything that we do in law tend to be extremely long and unfortunately very inefficient. It's not just decision making that is long, but it's also the application. So say you want to take a case to court. In some jurisdictions, you may need to wait 2 years, others 4 years, like in Canada. Or if you are living in Brazil or in India, it can take up to 10 years. And this is just for the decision making. Then you need to apply the decision to get the results that you want. So my question to you is, in this new economy that we live in, that is the now economy, where we can access absolutely anything and everything in just a click on our cell phone, how is it that we're going to be patient enough to wait for 2 years, 4 years, or 10 years in the worst cases? No one wants to wait all of this time. This is why what we see happening now is clients starting to be even more disinterested from the legal system and the justice system. In other words, in many countries in the world, 80% of legal needs are not met. People don't want to deal with their legal problems. And so what do? They do nothing about it. This is a huge opportunity for those of you who are listening live or maybe watching the replay, for you to do something about it, to reduce this gap. And also, everything we do is in person. At least I know I have a little story to share. In Canada, in Montreal, there has been a new system. Well, it was before the coronavirus, so maybe now things are improving. We have seen that. But just to tell you this story, there has been a system put in place in the justice system in Montreal that you can file your claim online. That was for small claims. And the objective was to try to speed up the process of filing a claim. But after you have filed your claim online, you have a little button at the end that says print, and you have to print everything and bring it to the court in person. So what is the point of doing all of those great digital facade if in the back end everything is still in paper? And this is why I really enjoy listening to Arnaud's speech today, because his story is about having a full digital contract board so you can manage your contract with real-time data. So also, the systems now are cyberhuman. What does this mean? This means that now the world is hyper-connected between the physical world, the digital world. And just this virtual meetup is a perfect example. We are tuning in from everywhere around the world. And soon, I suspect we'll be able to have some kind of really magical technology that will make us appear as holograms. And we will be almost feeling we are together in the same room. So I know it can sound a bit scary, but this is the future. And more than ever, we need lawyers to be mindful about what's happening in the world right now, and also to be bringing the legal system and the justice system more in sync with the new reality. Because if we don't do it, this is how people feel when they experience the justice system. They feel like this is an obstacle race, and they feel there is no end to it. And unfortunately, in most of the cases, people have to give in. They give in because they have no more resource. They have no more financial resource to pay for the fees that are required. And they have no emotional resource either, because it's extremely draining for them to go through this process. And this is why I believe it's time for a new legal user experience. It's time to give an upgrade of what we call the social code, because the law is the platform upon which we build societies. And if the law becomes inaccessible, and if people start to have no interest in the law anymore, we're going to have a real serious problem. We need to do this upgrade. It's becoming more urgent than ever to do this legal user experience upgrade. And my proposal to you with Legal Creative is that you can use legal creativity. Legal creativity is at the intersection of legal design and creative thinking. It's a combination of the strategies and the techniques that I have been personally learning in the United States and in Canada, that I've been researching at the university, and that I'm now sharing with you all through the platform of Legal Creatives. So I believe there is no better time but to ignite what I call the creative spark. The creative spark is today you have had some aha moments, you've had some insights, you maybe have started to realize that there is another way for you to work, and that is possible to do so. So don't let this little flame fade out. Keep it really burning really hard, so you can feel more passion into your work as a lawyer, and as working in relation to the justice system. So I want to say thank you for listening to my presentation, and I really hope you got some value, either from mine, from Arnaud's presentation, or from Elizabeth's presentation. I see there's a few comments in the chat. So let's see a little bit what's happening in the chat. Do we have any questions from the audience? I want to say thank you to every one of you for being live. It's really amazing that so many of you who registered managed to take the time to tune in live. I want to say also thank you to Arnaud for sharing with us. Arnaud has been talking about the process of digitalization of contracts, contract flows, and Elizabeth as well. Thank you for sharing. So let's talk a little bit about the user experience. Do we have any questions from the audience? Now, if you have questions, it's your time to type them into the chat. Let's see, Olivia is saying lawyers, they need to lead the lighter life, keep the climate lighter. I think, yeah, lightness is kind of important. It's kind of interesting. In Italy, apparently, there are digital civil trials, 100%. Well, this is great. In Brazil as well, there's a lot of things that have been digitalized, and yet there's a 10-year delay for getting decisions. All right. So any questions? Oh, Carol is saying, great speech, Elizabeth. Well, that is always nice to hear. Moro is saying that normal people start to use complicated words on the first day of law school. And it's difficult to learn how to speak normal language after that, for sure. So I have a question for our guests here. I would like to know, what made you take the first step? What is it that, what happened in your life, in your work, that made you say, well, let's just, was there a specific event? What was it? I see Elizabeth is saying, nodding. We want to hear more.
It was a process of realization, I suppose. But for me, the last straw was when the big law firm that I worked for started branding mineral water with the firm's name. I don't know, like, it just broke my brain. Like, people are complaining that we're too expensive, but we think somehow clients are impressed by branded pens, branded mineral water, imported coffee. Somewhere along the line, they lose their grip on what it is to be a good lawyer. That I remember that day very, very clearly. For me, was just the moment I realized, no, this is not for me.
Yes, branding water. Yeah, well, not the water, but the bottle. What about you, Arnaud? Did you have a haha moment in your career that made you, because, yes?
Yeah, I may say that as a bit of as of today. So if you're not sharing, if you're not trying to learn from other experiences, you cannot do all the possible things you are able to do. So it was just attending a given conference and getting a lot of insight from different people, just sharing the first experience into digitalization and so on and so forth, that I was even not measuring. I would say 10% of what was achievable just because of the tech. For sure, people aspect is key, but if you don't have the tech there, you cannot move forward as well. So it was just attending a conference, to be curious about what's existing in terms of innovation, just to bring new insight about new potential, about unleashing my own spirit, about thinking differently, about the way of working, more collaboration. Because when you don't touch it, you don't realize that it may be possible. So I just advise people just to learn from outside, try to think. I know that people don't like out of the box, but to the extent with extended box, ready to think and to learn from other people. Really.
Someone is asking, the system you are mentioning, is it private? Can you share? What is this system you've been talking about?
So it's not private. That's not a homemade system. It's a platform, different platform which exists in the field of CLM solution, contract discovery. So what I would advise you is to look at the Gartner, I would say, report. I know the Gartner, they are releasing on a regular basis in some field of activity. So it may be, I would say, control lifecycle management. It could be about contract analytics. So they are sharing with you what are the different actors, what are the different software which are in the market, which may support you on purpose. And I would say, so you probably heard about the quadrant of Gartner. So they are positioning, benchmarking all the software editors available in the market, about how easy they are to be deployed, to which step they are going in terms of digitalization. So I would recommend you to look at this kind of Gartner or Forrester reports, because they have a good insight about the full potential of software editor existing so far. And that's absolutely not homemade. And I would say just grab a quotes available, not try to make in-house this kind of thing, because that's very complex when it's about AI and this kind of thing.
We see that there's been a lot of comments in the chat, and I've been sharing a few, as you have seen, similar impressions. Anna is saying she relates totally to your story, Elizabeth. It's interesting. It's not necessarily about the people, but it's about the system. So how do you change a system that is broken? That's a really tough question. I think Arnaud is right. You have to be curious and open-minded to see what's happening in the other industries, to be open to do things differently.
I think if I can pitch in there, I think the most important thing is to listen to your clients. Because if I think the biggest difference between 10 years ago, and I saw some other comments, I can't figure out how to respond to the comments, but or what, about people not adopting things like plain language easily, they mistrust it. 10 years ago, that might have been true, but at the moment, a lot of the changes and things that I've been talking about is being driven by the clients. It's just that the lawyers aren't listening. So that kind of active, compassionate, empathetic or empathic listening is incredibly important.
For sure.
And that, I think, is how you change the system. Is if the clients change the system, you just need to listen, or otherwise you're going to be left behind.
For sure, listening to the client, this is the first step you have to do in legal design. Every time that I teach a class, and even this morning I was teaching one in French for our community with our colleague Alexandra Sabferi, and we started the legal design process, and participants start to say, well, let's design a beautiful infographics. But is the infographic the solution? What does the client need? Don't ask what clients want. Ask them what they need. And with regards to innovation and law, what have you found the most difficult aspect in your experience? This is a great question from Aline. Thank you for asking this question. What do you think has been your biggest challenge for you, Elizabeth?
Just making that truly that mind shift to human-centric thinking. Someone mentioned, that on the first day of law school, you lose the ability to speak normally. For me, it was my first day at the firm. I went through 16 drafts of a very simple letter. And I think it's hereditary. We inherit it from the partners who mentor us. So breaking free from that is very difficult. I find how I do that is by surrounding myself with non-lawyers. Right. So most of the people who work with me are not lawyers. They're information designers, they're change managers, they're psychologists. So they keep me honest, because some days, even if I'm tired or under pressure, I revert to lawyer, because that was how I was taught. So that for me is the hardest bit. It's a constant. You constantly have to check yourself. So just surround yourself with the right people. Is my advice.
And any recommendation on plain language? We have people who are interested in learning from you and Hey Plagin.
Anything that was written by Joe Kimball. I always say, in Joe Kimball we trust. He's an American professor and a pioneer of plain language, use of plain language in contracts. And he's written multiple articles that you can find easily online. So Joseph Kimball, Kimble. That's a very, very good place to start. You'll be so inspired. You'll want to break the system.
This is great. Arnaud, I think Tanin wants to know the name of this software you've been sharing.
So there are several. So for contract discovery analytics, meaning the software, the resource which allows you to make a PDF file, which is just a picture as a contract on which you can run some analytics, is SEAL software, SERL. So they are the leader on the market. And for the control lifecycle management, I was used to work with iCertis, but there are some others. You may have Aptus. So the competition is quite hard on this market, but we found out the iCertis solution very easy to use and to configure. But again, this kind of solution works pretty well when you don't try to push your own complexity into the system. So again, think about the user. The tool itself will not solve your problem, will not solve your complexity. So, and coming back to a previous question about innovation versus law, just to conclude on what Elizabeth was saying, think about change management. Don't just put the change management aside. That's part of the project. You need to give meaning. You need to give purpose to the people that understand where is the value for them. So really think about this and not just about tech.
Yeah, for sure. And Anna is saying it's not asking what clients need, it's discovering what they need. So I totally agree. It's about understanding what clients need. And for that, you need a lot of empathy and legal design. So I want to just jump here and let you know a little bit of what's been happening as well at Legal Creatives before we start the networking experience for those of you who want to continue and to meet more, because the chat is great, but it's a bit limited for you to really make meaningful connections. So we're going to move to Zoom in 2 moments. But before I do that, there's something really important I want to share with you. The reason why I'm doing this live also with Elizabeth and Arnaud is because Elizabeth, Arnaud, and I, with other great outstanding individuals from around the world, we've been working together at consolidating our knowledge at Legal Creatives, but also our knowledge as individual and professionals in legal design, in order to bring this movement to the next step. As you may know, at Legal Creatives, we have this community and this platform since 2017. We've been the first platform online teaching legal design. And to the best of my knowledge, I think we're still pretty much the only platform, at least focused on trainings and education online for legal design. And we aim to help you get the breakthrough that you would like to get using this amazing methodology. We've had incredible results in our own practice, but we have no doubt you are also going to get incredible results using legal design. And even just this morning with the masterclass we've had with the French community, I mean, we're starting to solve some really impressive and difficult problems when it comes to coronavirus and the law. There's a tremendous amount of new regulations out there in every jurisdiction. And legal design is absolutely a great tool to make sense of it all, to bring simplicity in this complex world. And so at Legal Creatives, we have now this amazing, can I say program? I would say program that I want to share with you a little bit. It's a program that is a compilation of everything we have been teaching online, and it's the best programs and the best course that we have managed to put together for you, so you can really get the breakthrough you need. So I've been running the Academy for 2 years, and now we are moving to the Academy 2.0 because we're taking it to the next level. And we would like you to be a founding member of this Legal Creatives Academy 2.0. If you would like to know a little bit more about what is this Academy 2.0, let me show you here right below. Those are the experiences we have been creating in legal design. We've been working on a new program that is called Duty to Passion, to help you map your career objectives and gain clarity as to what are the next steps that you would like to take in your life and in your career. And in this program, we use legal design tools and techniques, and we apply them to our own personal and professional life. So it's a great way to use the principles and to learn them, how they can be useful to design the career of your dream, because you can do it. As you have seen, we have been on this path before you. We are having success in living the life of purpose we wanted to live. And now we would like you to succeed as well. We also have contract games online. This is a really cool program where you get to apply legal design to contracts. So how can contracts be redesigned, taking into consideration the end user? And so we do that in a fun and entertaining way, so you can learn and practice at the same time. And of course, we have our masterclass that I'm sure many of you already know. Some of you have even taken it online with us. And this is where we teach you the legal design principles and methods so you can create a new user experience. So you can find new business models in law, and you can create new processes that are going to make your life easier, and also make the life of your clients much easier because they're going to be happier. But not only that, we also now releasing this new virtual learning circle, We've been doing those circles with the facilitators from around the world. I've been telling you a little bit about this, and we really enjoyed the experience so much. We decided, let's offer the virtual learning circle to the community. Why limit it to 12 people if we can have all of you join and connect and share and grow with us in legal design? And to do so, we are sharing with you some coaching tips and tools. So every 2 weeks, you get your coaching tool, and every month you get to share and track your progress and success with us. So if you're interested in joining as a founding member, all you need to do is go to legalcreatives.com/academy20 and become a founding member. I don't suspect we're going to open this program very often, because this is a really special access for all and every one of you who are really wanting to make sense of the situation right now. And also, just so you know, we're offering this program at a super discounted price, because we know those times are really complicated for everybody. But we also know now it's the time to move forwards towards something completely new, innovative, and creative. So I'll be sharing with you the link in the email so you can take a look at all of that great stuff. And I really look forward to seeing you grow with us. Before we go into the networking experience, for those of you who want, I would like to give the last word to our guest, our very special guest. We've been working together now for a couple of months. Maybe is there anything you would like to share about your experience in this program with us? What is the major insights you've had, and how has it helped you get more breakthrough?
I think the thing that's most valuable to me is just the energy that I get from it. I think there's real strength in community, and we've met some awesome people. We've met some people that we've been connected to forever, on social media, in person, and it's really that shared experience that I'm finding most valuable. Just learning from each other and talking about these issues. It really gives you energy, and you're excited about what the future holds, which is saying a lot during this very, very difficult time. It's really been a lifeline.
For sure.
Yeah. So what I may complete is, that's a really great wide range of different people bringing their own expertise, and I feel really always really energized and engaged and enthusiastic with regards to all the topics we are discussing, because somehow we have all really already an open mindset, I would say, but it's always about still learning different things, new things from different people from different areas in the world, finding connections. So that's really great about that. Yes.
Larissa is saying she's got great
Tessa.
insights on legal creativity, on a different experience of the law across the world, what needs to be changed. And for sure, with the coronavirus situation now, it's just accelerating the pace of change. And we feel like you have your space in the legal design universe, and that if you would like to take this space, all you need to do is claim it. And we are here to help. We have facilitators from everywhere around the world. So you don't have to worry about time zones. You don't have to worry about all of that difficult stuff. We have made it super easy for you to learn through those learning circles. So this is the announcement today. We'll be sharing even more about what this program holds for you. But we just see that everybody is energized about what's happening right now in the legal design space, and we are too. So now I would like to invite those of you who are interested in a very special networking experience to join me in Zoom, where we will have small groups discussions. So if you have time, I understand the hour is already gone. Things went really fast with our great speakers. But if you have time, I will be sharing now by email to all of you a Zoom link. All you need to do is click on the Zoom. Please put your real name so I know who you are, and I can assign you to the nice breakout rooms so you can get to meet the people you need to meet. And we will take it from there. I want to say again, thank you to our speakers. Thank you, Arnaud, for sharing. And thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing as well. And for being on this journey as well with us. And thank you to all and every one of you who tuned in.
Bye.
All right. We'll see you
in
in
the
the Zoom.
Zoom. Bye.